Hi, everybody. Good day to you all. Today, I wish to talk to you all about two important concepts, that is, being alone and being lonely. Now, these two have got a world of difference. Now, we are living in an age where being alone, even for a single minute, is totally impossible. I remember I was staying in a hotel room. Uh, the room adjacent, there were a few students. They were preparing for their exams. Instead of preparing for their exams, which was supposed to be taking place within a couple of days or so, they were constantly Skyping people and interacting via the Facebook and other social medias constantly, and they were so loud that I could not focus on my work. Imagine, this is supposed to be a good quality hotel where whatever happens in the next room is not audible, but I was able to hear their screams and their shouts, and I could not even sleep, and they were like this till early morning 2:30. Can you imagine? And I suppose they went to bed around 3 o'clock early morning or so. Now, why am I telling you this? This is not an isolated incident. This is an ongoing incident which is very much prevalent among the young people, focusing on things which are important. They're always on things which are not important, or which don't need your utmost attention. Now, I'm here to talk to you about being alone. What are some of the importance of being alone? Now, first and foremost thing, you need to understand being alone is not being lonely. For example, you might be in the company of your friends, say 20 people or 30 people, yet you will feel lonely, because loneliness is a feeling that is generated from within. It's just like depression, anxiety, anger. So, if you were to say, I feel lonely, it means you got an issue. You have not understood yourself. In other words, you have not realized your true potential. Every individual's purpose is to realize his or her potential on this planet Earth, because we are not going to be here forever. We need to understand that foremost, and at the end of the day, we have to be contented with what we have done to make other people's life better, right? So what change have we brought about? Of course, we cannot go into the tune of great people who have already lived before us, but at least we can try our best to be of some use to others, to be of some value in whatever way. So, coming back to the point of being alone, people have lost that art of being alone. So, it is imperative that people strike that connectivity of being alone. So, what are some of the benefits? First and foremost thing, you realize your true potential. You realize your inner being. What are you here for? Do you know that 95% of the people do not know what is their purpose in life? They just get up every day morning, and you have to ask them, why are you waking up in the morning? They say they don't know the answer, and they go to work without even having a zeal or power, and they sit down at their workstation and start to do their job start to do their work monotonously, and then they say that their life is empty. What is the reason? You don't seek for fulfillment outside of you. Fulfillment comes from within you, right? It is not a feeling that you go out looking for. So, why you need to be alone? First and foremost thing, it makes you, as I mentioned to you, it makes you powerful. And the next thing is that it gives you a sense of purpose. And the third thing is, when there are issues or situations that you encounter in your life, you don't go out seeking people for solutions. Now, a common mistake that what people do is they go out asking for counsels. You know, they go interacting with tons and tons of people, asking, "Look, this is an issue that is tormenting me. What am I supposed to do?" Look, the people to whom you go are just as good as you are. You need to understand that, because these problems are striking you. Problems are not equanimous. In other words, whatever problem you suffer, there is no guarantee that the same problem would also be hampering the lives of others. So, you are going and asking counsel from this person, thinking that he or she is going to give you an answer. Apparently, what happens? You end up further augmenting your problem, further augmenting your situation, and in such a manner that every time you go asking for people's counsel, you detriment the condition more further. So that's the case that happens. So you should find solutions from within. I am reminded of this story. You know, long time ago there were two people, a boy and his father. So they were walking down the road, and suddenly they found a person who was selling a donkey. The boy said he loves the donkey, so he wanted to buy the donkey. The father said, "Oh, we don't need any donkeys. We have a lot of pets." But the boy insisted, "Dad, we need to buy this donkey. I love this donkey." So the dad bought the donkey with the idea that they both can use the donkey as a transportation vehicle. That means the donkey would be able to move them about from point A to point B. So they can ride the donkey. So that is the objective of the dad buying the donkey. So what happened during the time of their journey after purchasing the donkey? The father put the son on the donkey, and he was walking alongside the donkey with the son seated on the donkey. Now, after a few paces of their journey, some people encountered them and started saying, "What a ruthless, disrespectful boy. He is letting his father walk. And this boy is heartless, very disrespectful." So this touched the boy's heart, and he said, "Dad, I've got no interest in riding the donkey. I think some people are coming, so they want to experience this solitude." Okay, so the son's guilt made the son to dismount, and the father mounts the donkey, and the son walks alongside the donkey with his father being seated on the donkey. After a few paces they had traveled, they again came across a few set of people, and they started to remark at the dad and the son. "Oh, how foolish these people are. They got a big donkey, and instead of both these guys riding the donkey, they're so foolish that one person rides the donkey while the other person strains himself by walking alongside. How foolish is this?" So the conversation of the people got into their brains, got into their minds. So the dad and the son decided they're both going to ride the donkey. So now the son hops onto the donkey, and the dad and the son both are now on the donkey. So they start their journey now. Again, after a few paces, there were a certain set of people who see this scene. And they start to remark, oh, how ruthless the dad and the son are. They are torturing this poor animal. Instead of having some consideration for this poor animal, these two huge mountainous creatures are taxing this animal so much so that the animal is going to fall down dead. Can you believe that? Now, this again gets into the mind of the dad and the son. And now what they do, they tie the legs of the donkey to a pole, and the dad and the son, both of them are now carrying the donkey. So what is the moral? If you were to keep listening and asking counsel to people who are like-minded like you, or who are in the same league as you are, you're going to be ending up carrying the donkey. So the point what I'm trying to mention here is, being alone is one way where you reboot yourself, where you change the spectrum of your thought process. You look for solutions from within. So you need to seek where you can be alone. So if you have the will, the way can always be found. So if you're, as I mentioned to you, in the city it's difficult to be or find a place where you can be alone. But again, if you have the mind and the will to seek, you shall find. So practice being alone. You find a greater meaning and purpose to your life. Not only that, you become more strong, you become more powerful. Power doesn't mean muscle power. It means the power that the saints and the sages hold. So spirituality is not reserved just for the elite few. Right? So that is the misconception that people have. So they always think about a certain set of people who are reserved with great powers. No, anybody, everybody can become powerful spiritually if you spend time in solitude. So when you are alone, you get a greater insight about your own self. And you become more thoughtful, you become more composed, you hold a very good temperament, you wouldn't get angry easily, you wouldn't allow anyone to get at you. That is one of the attributes of being alone, being in solitude. Now, why did I make this video? I wish to give you a small illustration. Why? I have an aunt who raised her children with lots of love. So much love she poured on them that it's unimaginable even to describe. Now, when time came for them to find their companions, the children got married and they left their mother. Now, the problem here is that specifically the families where people are highly connected, it becomes too hard for them to realize that their children are now not with them, but at a far off place. They continue to have that expectations that their children should come to them and say hi, good morning, good evening, and inquire of them. Of course, they can inquire of them, but they too have their lives to run, right? It's not possible for them to always be mindful of their mother. But apparently what happens here is that my aunt became so much touched or so much attached to her child, to her children. She couldn't even digest that they are not with them. Of course, she became depressed, she became anxious, and she started into a state of what you call as constant complaining. The children are not there, children won't come, children won't see her. But why all these things happened? Now, as parents, people have to understand that one day their children will have to flap their wings and fly, because they have their lives to live. And as parents, they should give their children that freedom to go and set up their families, right? Now, with the social media, the situation becomes even more grimmer. I remember a friend telling me that he became so upset that he places in a moment, some moments of his life, and he did not get likes for that. He became so upset. I could do nothing but laugh. Well, why are you expecting people to give you likes? It's your life. Why do you want someone's validation in your accomplishments or your moments, or whatever be the case, right? So never seek people's approval. If you were to seek people's approval, at the end of the day, you will be very disappointed. You will be very upset, because everybody have their own life to live. Not everyone would view that moment that you are enjoying or you enjoyed in the same fashion that you have enjoyed. So to expect people to give you likes on Facebook posts or on Twitter posts or WhatsApp posts, it's totally impossible, right? You can you can air your comments, you can place your moments. There's nothing wrong in it. You are sharing your joy. If people want to appreciate it, fine. If people don't want to appreciate it, if people want to troll you, it's still fine. You are what you are. But the problem that we foresee here is people become very upset. Now there is an issue what is called as social media fixes. Just like drug fixes, people need social media fixes. It's expected that one day, if they are not getting messages from Tom, Dick and Harry, that's it. They go into a state of depression. I'm not saying research now has found that the impact of social media on people's life is so much that they cannot just live without that. So it's imperative that you understand, or you become the change. Instead of seeking validation and people's acknowledgements and recognitions, just be yourself. Solitude. Look for solitude, at least for once in a month or twice in a month, according to your convenience. Of course, you are working. I know that these days economic situation is really grim. People have to work a lot to make ends meet. So whenever you get time, amidst your busy schedules, you take time off, go into a place. There are a lot of resorts which offer you that seclusions that you need, and get in touch, get connected with nature. Of course, you may not be able to go into wilderness, because if you want to go to wilderness or go into wilderness, you need to leave the country, or you need to leave your state, and that is time consuming. You need to have sufficient funds, and you need to apply for visas, and that's a cumbersome process. You can also do like what Mr. Rajinikanth does. Mr. Rajinikanth is known to spend time in the Himalayas. You've got the beautiful Himalayas, so you can go and spend time there, a few days. Of course, I would say that has given Mr. Rajinikanth a strong sense of inner strength. So he is into spirituality. He is a spiritual man, and that is one of the reasons that he stood so many attacks when he was contemplating in his political career. Of course, he can start it whenever he wants it. He's a strong person, both from within and from without. I would largely attribute his strength to his time that he spent in solitude, or I presume he still continues spending time in the Himalayas. So, all the people of the world, we need to learn from each other, from everybody, because as the famous proverb says, every student is a teacher.